Welcome back to the Wings versus Rings podcast, where we're going to be talking about the NFC and AFC South. I'm your host, Dylan. I'm rapping for Philly, your delusional Eagles fan, and this is my co host.
Seth, your biased Patriots fan.
And without further ado, let's get started with the NFC South. You want to take the lead on this one, my boy?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Uh, to start out, I have the division winner and the number one team in that division being the Buccaneers at 11-6. I
Okay.
think Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback at this point. They have an amazing wide receiver room with Mike Evans and Ekbuka, who I'm very excited for. Chris Godwin, I feel a little bad for because it seems like he's losing that spot due to like injury and needing to recover, and he's going to take a little while, slow start. I like their running backs. I actually wasn't a huge Bucky Irving fan coming into last year, like at all. But it kind of changed my mind, and he just, with his play, he's just been great and amazing, and I can't really deny it. Even though I'm not, I wasn't a fan. I gotta see, I gotta believe.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to stay blind too long or take too
Yeah,
too long to come around and or be like me and be late to the Eckler party so that you're standing on it. Like this year, I feel like I have to kind of buy in after our argument last year. Um,
yeah.
but that's besides the point. I also have the Bucks winning the division. I have them at 10-7 though. The notes that I had while doing this one was Godwin's injury was up there for me just because I do like Chris Godwin. I've always been a Mike Evans guy. I think you've been more of the Chris Godwin guy when it comes to us, at least. Um, but yeah, his injury does kind of suck, and the way Baker's talking about Ibuka, did I say that correctly? the way they're
A little
talking about him,
tricky.
the way they're talking about him is it's really good. But like what they're seeing out of him in camp, so excited to see that. And then QB1 man, Baker Mayfield. Where's he fall in that top 10 now? Is he in it? Is he just outside? I'm not sure. I haven't sat down and did it, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but I don't think people are gonna look at you crazy if you say he's in your top 10 now. So he's come a long way from. I don't want to say his days at the Browns because those were semi promising, right? But I guess we'll say Panthers Baker.
Yeah,
um,
he's definitely solidified in that top 10 for me at this point. Okay, maybe not solidified because he is like 10. He's 9 or 10. And any given year, someone could take those spots. It's just having 40 passing touchdowns last year, no, not that many interceptions, playoff team multiple years now. I can't deny him. He's had the success statistically and as a team that I'd put him over somebody like Geno Smith at this point.
yeah, well, we won't sit down and we'll put it there, but it's good to know that you'd probably have him in your top 10. Off the top of my head, I would probably assume he'd be around the same for me. We typically feel similar when it comes to how we rank quarterbacks, but we'll do that another some other day. The only other thing on here that I had that I did want to ask you was, do you think, and with Godwin's injury, I do feel like it's hyper likely, or more likely, I should say, that Evans' 1,000 yard record continues this year because it's truly an incredible record.
And celebrate. I'm just gonna believe in the sun rises, the sun sets. Mike Evans gets 1,000 yards. Like I'm just gonna
Bet
believe until it
taxes and
stops
Mike
happening.
Evans 1,000 yard receiving year.
Yeah, like that's book it,
And to
book
be
that.
exact, do we know how many times he's done that straight? I didn't write that down.
I believe he's going into year 13 and he just broke Jerry Rice's 11-year streak record. So I'm gonna go with 12 times
Like
in a
this
row.
would be going for 12.
This would be going for 13, I believe.
Oh, going for 13. Well,
I think he broke
either
Jerry
way,
Rice's 11
an
years.
extremely impressive record to hold, let alone have your name in a conversation with Jerry Rice. That's a big deal. But
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's too much more to say. We didn't really discuss the defense. I guess we could. I don't know if you have anything to say on them. The only point for their defense for me was just their second round pick and Benjamin Morrison, and just kind of being excited to see how he'll plug in there. Did you have anything to say about their defense?
I mean, Hassan, I think their defense is relatively middle of the pack, which isn't that bad considering I don't feel like they have like a bunch of stars on their roster. But they did sign Hassan Reddick in the offseason, and I don't know what he's going to
Former
be.
Eagles, great.
It's a former Eagles great. It could be a complete crapshoot. He was great. He went to the Jets, didn't want to be there. Who knows how that affected his play? But if he can even be 80% of the person he was in the Eagles, which is like 16, 15 sacks, that's which is still an extreme amount. Like this defense really could see a huge major uptick because I do like their secondary. Of course, I like their linebackers. Their defensive front is just left a little bit to be desired. And if they can get Hassan Reddick to actually produce and Yaya Diaby to take another step, they could be pretty good. And obviously, Vita Vitamin is one of the best interior D linemen in the league. They could be decent. They could be a decent defense this year for sure.
Excited to see what they can be, but lucky for them, they are in the NFC South, which I'm gonna imagine based off us both having them at the top, neither of us are super strong. Like we feel super strongly about them. But let's
Mhm.
get to it with the second team. I'm going to assume we both have them, the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. I have them at 9 wins, 8 losses. Originally doing this record prediction, I think I only had 7 wins, but I don't know. It felt like it was kind of disrespectful to the offense and what I think they are. Just talking straight weapons. I love Drake London at this point. That's your guy. I'm not trying to take him from you, but I like him a lot. But I do love Bijan. I always have, always will. That dude's incredible. Gonna try to draft him in fantasy again. But I'm excited for them, and I do have some defensive things. But I'm gonna swing it to you. See what you got to say. What's their record for you?
They're 9-8 as well, but this is a I'm playing it safe and going in the middle because their floor could be a little bit lower, but their ceiling to me is actually much higher. They could win this division potentially. It just depends on what Penix is, in my opinion,
I think that's a
because their
fantastic point.
offense, their offense is one of the best weapons group I've seen in the NFL currently, and their offensive line is actually relatively good. So it's just, can this quarterback go? He's in one of the best situations for a young rookie or young quarterback at this point. I love their weapons so much, and their defense just and that side of the ball worries me. They are not good. While they do actually have some pieces in the secondary,
My
they
point
are
for
one of the
them,
worst.
yeah,
Mhm.
I don't disagree. My point for them defensively was definitely just going to be the investments that they made during the draft and what
Mhm.
they can be. Because if they pan out, I think it's a different story. When I say they, I mean Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. Those were their defensive
Yeah.
acquisitions during the draft. There may have been more too. Those were just the two for me that were like, these dudes have such an upside. I think we both agreed that Jalen Walker reminds us of a certain unsigned person in the NFC East right now.
Yeah. No,
Again,
he's
ceiling, don't get me wrong, but I think we are playing it safe, I guess you could say, but I also think we're accurate because I did look it up in the Atlanta Falcons over under on most betting sites is looking at 8.5. So we I guess we bet the over.
yeah.
We're more
Yeah.
optimistic than Vegas,
Oh, yeah. We're a little bit more optimistic
slightly.
for sure. I really do like the Falcons this year, and you're right. James Pierce and Jalen Walker, that's a substantial investment, especially when a lot of people were upset with that James Pierce trade. They did not like the return. They did not like how much the Falcons gave up just to get that pick, and they both could hit. It's tough relying on rookies to immediately come in and make an impact, especially when Jalen Walker, who we both do love, is a tweener right now at best. I mean, we thought the same thing about Micah Parsons for sure, like you were alluding to, but Micah, he's more dominant. I'm concerned for Jalen Walker in terms of how his body type is going to actually affect players on the edge. Like he might just be too small to have a consistent role there. But yeah, their defense is bad because their pass rush has been awful. And if they can get something out of those two dudes, yeah, they could be a decent defense, especially with their head coach being a defensive coordinator. Like it's a culture they're trying to establish there. But yeah, like we were saying, it all rides on Penix's shoulders
No,
at this
a
point. If
hundred
they're
percent. That is definitely the big storyline. There will be how Michael Penix plays in his second year and how he can run that offense. I feel like he he had moments. He showed flashes, but I was
mhm.
never really sold on him out of college. He's a lefty, is he not?
Yeah, I just don't like left-handed
I was
quarterbacks.
gonna say this is a hate thing for me, but it mechanically looks wrong to me, even though it's just flipped. But yeah, so I just don't think there's really too much to say. 9-8 says it all. Kind of like what you're saying about the Packers, like they're the most 10-17. That's how I feel about
Mhm.
Atlanta. Like I feel like they're just 9-8. Like I feel like they're
Yeah,
destined
like stamp
for
it.
8-9 wins, and I don't know if that's a bad thing though for them. It's a division that they can definitely take over if they keep making right decisions. You're saying that they question the Pierce move, but if he pans out, if Walker pans out, that's a great step right there. You win 8-9 games, you figure out if you got your quarterback, and you go from there. Because if quarterback's right, they got a lot of stuff that I already like. So
Yeah.
next team, go ahead. Who you got in third? I don't think it'll be a surprise.
I think who we have fourth in this division is the worst team in the NFL. So it wouldn't be
Yeah.
super shocking. But for me, the third team is the Panthers, and for you, like I just
Yes,
said,
it is.
and they're 6-11 for me this year.
I
Uh,
have them at 6-11 as well.
yeah, so
Yes.
we're pretty on the mark there. They're another team though. This whole division, besides the Saints, is extremely volatile to me because any year the Bucks could, maybe they don't win that game against the the Lions and their season looks worse. Like any given game, any given Sunday, these teams can flip flop. And the Panthers to me are also like just a super volatile team because their defense was awful last year, like historically awful. But their offense looked pretty good, like towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it's
And
a
if they
three
could
game
just,
stretch of good. Not to
yeah,
cut you
you're
off,
right.
but like I
No,
feel
you're
like,
right.
and I want to like Bryce too, and I didn't want to hate him as much as I feel like people were out on him so quickly. But I do
Yeah.
just like I feel like the discourse of they had a great end to the season is a little blown out of proportion. I didn't look into it on the like who they played in the last week of the season. I'm assuming they played starters, and I remember I'm pretty sure that's when Bryce did his like look away touchdown.
Mhm.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was like a 3 game sample size. I just wanted to kind of incorporate that as to what we were quoting as good offense. But continue. Sorry.
It was more of like the ramp up to it as well as those like 3 games, but also the fact that there wasn't anything beforehand to believe in with Bryce Young. It inspires hope, and of course, people that do believe in him, like us to an extent, are going to hang on to that. So even though it is a 3 game sample size, I'm still willing to bet that he's closer to that than he was for the other games. I know it might be crazy, but I do believe in him. But I'm just not expecting a big turnaround for this team, to be honest, because their defense was historically bad last year. And while they did invest in it, they might have gotten from the 32nd ranked defense to the 26th ranked defense. It
Hey, they
doesn't like
tried,
that's still
man.
not good enough. That's still not.
They
Yeah, no.
tried. They thought they had Milton Williams for like a minute there.
And for like a good hour. Yeah, thank God he's a Patriot. I do love their draft though because I do love Ted. He's a wide receiver one to me.
Teteroa
And
McMillan. Yeah, I'm excited for
yeah,
him too.
so excited. He's
Um,
he's awesome. Thought he was
so
gonna be a Patriot.
I think I'm gonna kind of just give my little soliloquy on what I think they are, and you can agree with me or not. I think that they're super comparable to the Atlanta Falcons in the sense that I believe their entire season, as far as when everything's said and done, and we're about to head into the playoffs. I think even in their best version of this season for them, playoffs aren't on the table. That's my opinion. Maybe you disagree with that, but I think that the best version of both the Falcons and Panthers seasons, granted, I do think the Falcons could make it to the playoffs, is knowing what you have at quarterback. That's just the best thing that can happen for them. They just having an answer. The worst thing in the world would be for Penix and Bryce to give you a half and half season and just not make it a obvious like he's the guy or he's not the guy. I think that's the only way they have a terrible season, barring injuries, of course. But I would say that the actual difference between the two teams is just the skill position outside of the question mark at quarterback. That's where I believe that Atlanta is able to get those extra 3 wins because we're both saying 6-11 for the Panthers. I think the Falcons are going to get 9. I believe that's what you said as well. So I think that those 3 wins are just purely who's around the quarterback because I think I'd rather have Bryce than Penix. But I know that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I do have them 6-11 as well. I just think that when we're in week 18 or whatever it is, if I'm a Panthers fan or a Falcons fan, I just want to know what I got at QB, and that's all I want.
Yeah. That's obviously a major thing because that's where you go from there to build, is Archman in your future? If not, like these are
It's the
super
Saints'
important.
future.
That's Saints future. You're right. He's gonna be in this division. No, that's funny. That is true. Like I believe what you're saying. They need to figure out what they have a quarterback, but I do feel like the skill position, it's a big fall off, but it's not so big where I'm like it's a 3 game difference. To me, it's the defense. I really think the Panthers like
Definitely think it's a
there's not a
mixture.
lot of
I
like
should have
at
I
all.
should have said it better, but to
Yeah.
me, I do. But I would argue that what the Panthers are working with versus what the Falcons are working with, because the most intriguing thing to me on the Falcons, offensive skill wise, is a rookie, someone who hasn't had
Mhm.
a snap in the NFL yet. That wasn't a preseason game, so it's like I don't, you know what I mean. I don't really know what to. Yes, I'm big on him too. I want him to be great. I I'm rooting for him, a fan for sure, but I don't know what he is. Drake London showed great things last year. I think Bijan proved his draft slot was worth it, unlike Pitts. But Pitts is always a question mark. He's always
He's
something.
due.
Someone you're hopeful. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
due.
He's overdue. So that's where. But yes, the defense would definitely factor into those 3 wins for sure, or the 3 game difference in their records. But let's move on to what I'm assuming we have as the last place team. Obviously, that's not an
Ars-
assumption, but assuming we both have them picking number one overall in this next
Yeah,
draft. What's the
Arsenal. And you
record
are
for you?
saying again 2-15 or 2-15 for me.
Yeah, that's nicer than what I got. I got 1-16 written down.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you're. That's honestly not off the table. I think they're only are they favored only in one game this year? Like that.
What
That
game could
that
they
seems very
possibly
small.
be
I
favored in? The
the bye week.
Titans, Browns. That was good.
They're
Bye week
favored
is
in the
their
bye week.
only chance, and even then,
Yeah,
bye week might run away with it.
but they're just paying. They're just paying for what they did, bro. They kicked that can down the years, down the road for so many years that it was just bound to come. Everyone knew it was coming. It was the
Was it always Sean Payton's plan to just stick them with it? I'm out of here.
it is dead, bro. They really got like 2 first round picks for Sean Payton or something like, or a first round pick or something like that too, and they're still in this mess. Like, oh my god, that's
And
insane.
it goes to show you the quarterback issue and how valuable a quarterback is. Because even though I'm just gonna compare them to the team we just did, I don't have a lot of faith in the Panthers. You just were expressing how bad their defense was a year ago. Not to say that's the
Yeah,
defense that'll be on the field this year, but
it'll be
I mean,
close.
yeah, exactly. But we still have them winning 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints question mark at quarterback is huge, and maybe we're not giving this kid enough credit, which is probably true. I say kid, he's probably slightly older than us, but
Like
uh,
26. He's older than Trevor Lawrence.
it's maybe we're not, but I don't think that's the case. I think that this is the worst quarterback room I've ever seen. Like ever. I truly off the top of my head couldn't think of something worse.
Mac Jones did his
So
happy.
it's I mean Mac Jones at least started.
Yeah, and took a step flat. You're right. He at least started it, took a step flat. Pro Bowl Mac Jones. He's him. That gritty is the only bright spot I had for 4 years at quarterback. But the problem with me with the Saints is I've never heard of their quarterback before they drafted him. And I feel
That's
like I'm
true.
relatively tapped into the draft. And I didn't even know how to pronounce his name. It's Shuck or something like that. It doesn't look like that whatsoever.
Yeah,
He's not even a starter. It's Spencer Rattler.
SHOUGH. It's Rattler still, yeah.
Yeah,
It's that's a
crazy.
honestly, either way they go, it's not going to be a great look. The
Yeah,
team's not going to be good. There's just not a lot of positions on the field where they'll have an edge in any game.
yeah. And I love
They're
Olave.
looking for, excuse me, they're looking for a running back, is what I read the other day. So to me, that shows some type of concern for what Alvin Kamara will bring this year, or his health. I'm not sure, but I just read recently that they were in the trade market for a running back, and they terminated Clyde Edwards-Helaire's contract. So I really don't know what there is to like when you look at the Saints. I don't know. Cam Jordan, like
Dude, I think Kamara is getting traded midseason. I think this O line and defense is just irreparably awful this year. It doesn't matter what they do. I love Olave, but he can't play all 17 games. He's a concussion waiting to happen, and I hate that because he is one of my favorite receivers. I thought he was going to get better than Garrett Wilson coming out. You're right in that debate so far. I can't deny it, but I am hopeful for him. But he just can't stay healthy.
yeah,
And
it's
I
not
don't
going
even
to
know
be
who
an
their head
issue.
coach is. I don't even. Is it Kellen Moore?
It's Kellen Moore. Yeah, I was gonna
That's
allude to that next, just because
bad.
eh, maybe yes. Obviously, I don't want to rule him out just because I think that yeah, it's just the delusion of being an Eagles fan. I don't want to be rude. He was there. He was part of a Super Bowl winning team, and I yeah. So, but I mean, even the ones who I did think were good have left. And when I say the ones, I mean offensive coordinators that have been ripped from us. They didn't succeed after us. I mean, Frank Wright, he was bad. He was bad both places he went. And he was in Indy and in Carolina, right? And he was awful both places. And
Yeah,
Shane, I love Shane, but he hasn't looked good and he's
yeah.
currently the head coach of Indianapolis. So it's just
Is
kind of
that them? Is that them, or is that them hitching their wagon to the
on
wrong
it's
quarterback?
but that's fair. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not prepared to know exactly which
Yeah,
quarterbacks
it's all
each
what
coach
is.
was working
Yeah,
with. No, yeah, that's fair too. But I just meant more so like we're talking about year what 14 Matt Ryan, and they got a decent year out of decent year out of Phillip Rivers and a decent year out of Carson Wentz. Like these are quarterbacks that nobody should have. So yeah, I guess you could be right, but
all right, well, I mean, I think we've hammered the Saints enough. I think it's time to move on the
yeah, I
AFC
guess we
part of
should
things.
probably move on to the AFC
Yeah.
North.
Who do you have winning the AFC South? Moving on to the AFC South side of things, we are starting with the Texans, or at least I am. They're the winners of my division, but only barely, if I'm being honest. And that's just because I respect CJ Stroud so much. He's an amazing quarterback. D'Amico Ryans is a good head coach. He's built an awesome defense. He's cultivated a great culture. I'm really honestly super worried about this O line and the health of this receiver room, but mainly this O line. It was awful last year, and then you trade Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, that is
I don't
definitely a
get that.
big,
I don't
definitely
get
a
that.
big loss right there. I also wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the record you had?
I'm at 10 and
Okay,
7.
that's what I thought, but I didn't want to. I also have them at 10-7. I mentally went off into my own world because you were like, or at least I do, and I was like, who else does he think I could have winning this division? But I guess it's not super far off who I have second. But let me not get to that yet. Let's start with the Texans. I strongly want to back up your point about their O line, and I mean, I guess they could technically cash back in and trade for who they traded us away. They traded Ken John Green. I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name, but traded us a guard for CJ, and we ended up cutting that guard today. We being the Eagles. So I guess they can get him back, and they didn't even trade us anything. But I have him at 10-7 as well. Nico Collins. I'm hoping for his health. I heard Joe Mixon's gonna miss at least what 4 games.
I don't know. He's a CMC this year. It was supposed to be minor and not hold him out at all, and now it's turned into something where he's going to miss time. I feel like it's another CMC situation where
Are we buying
it's
into
kind
Nick
of
Chubb?
major. Oh, we find it in nature.
So
Hell
no,
no,
we're not. Okay.
no, not at this point. But yeah, Mixon's a huge question mark to me,
Yeah, I
honestly.
honestly, I just this will sound like such a weird thing to say, but the Texans bore me.
Mm.
They just bore me. I don't, outside of Nico Collins, and that was more so because you've been a Nico purist since he's been in the league, but I've just they're
So
just
good.
boring to me. Like there's really no one on their team that I have a super big attachment to outside of I guess CJ, and I know that the initial report was something was torn, and then a report came out that it wasn't torn. But either way, I'm gonna say it's safe to assume he's missing a good portion of time. So like they're just boring to me. I truly just I don't have much to say about them.
I love their defense. That's really all I gotta say. This defense is awesome.
Aziz
They're just
Al-Sayer.
awesome. I do like him. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion because he's somewhat of a dirty player, but I do
I
like
don't think
Aziz also, to
I
be
think that
honest.
like some of the hits are definitely questionable. Where it's like,
Mm,
dude, like, why are you doing that? But it's so easy to judge from a couch. It's just so easy to
yeah.
be like, yeah, you had time to think about it. Like, just because we got the slow frame shot of this dude taking someone's head off, doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean it felt that way in the moment. I mean, I guess I'm being unfair because it's not true. I like Stingley. I like Will Anderson. You're correct. Their defense is good. Offensively, they do bore me though. They just
Yeah,
bore
yeah,
me.
they're
I just don't think they have a
boring.
flashy offense. I'm an offensive guy. You're the defensive guy here. Not to say that I don't like defense. Just our personalities, I guess. You like defense. I like offense. They have Barnett. I guess I don't really feel. I changed my entire opinion. I have severe connection. He recovered the fumble on Brady, so
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know I had to put that in there. But yeah, I'm
Hmm.
gonna move us on to the team that I am assuming that we also have second in the division, but maybe not.
Hmm.
We're riding with the Titans and Camp. No, I'm just kidding. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay,
I
there we
have
go.
them
That
at
makes a little more sense.
8 wins and 9 losses. So what do you got them at? What's your record prediction?
Oh my gosh, get out of my head, bro. I got him at 8 and 9 as well. I got him at 8 and 9
This will
as
be
well.
so much more interesting when we start arguing things, which I guess we'll
Mm.
have to wait till the Chiefs division, sir, unless you're gonna flip flop on what you've
I'm
been
not flipping
telling me.
on that.
All right,
I'm not
cool.
flipping
Well,
on
we'll wait till we get there on the next episode. But let's go, Jaguars. You lead.
that. Yeah, yeah. I got him at 8 and 9, but this is another situation like the Falcons where I'm playing it safe because in all honesty, I really believe this team can win this division because the Texans don't wow me. I'm just giving them the division out of respect. The Jags can be explosive this year with Liam Cohen as their head coach, who I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of as a personality, but as a schematic offensive
Duval.
mind,
I raised my eyebrows when you
he's
said it.
amazing. He's amazing. He brought the best out of Baker that I've ever seen. His offensive skill set and planning is it's elite. It really is elite. And I'm really excited to see what he is with Trevor Lawrence because I was a super big Trevor Lawrence believer coming out of the draft. And I am not gonna lie, I've sold some stock on him, but I'm still in. I'm still in on Trevor Lawrence being a good quarterback. BTJ, he's an animal. The dude is amazing. And
Brian
Travis
Thomas
Hunter,
Jr.,
oh
for
yeah,
those who
oh
don't
yeah.
know the acronym.
And Travis Hunter at being a cornerback two and a wide receiver two, along with Campbell coming back healthy to be the other corner paired with him.
I'm definitely
This deep
excited to see that.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to see that offensive tandem. And honestly, this defense was really bad last year, especially against the pass. But I think you add Travis Hunter, who I think is a very good cornerback, the best cornerback prospect in this draft. You add him with Campbell, who I'm a big fan of, and the D line has just always been consistently good against the run and consistently good at pass rushing. I think they could. I think they could really win this division this year. They could be a very surprising team.
They
It's
have
just can Trevor
Boyasad
Lawrence?
Aluakon, so
Oh
they
yeah,
always have
that
a
dog.
chance. No, sorry, I thought you were spinning it over to me. Finish your thought.
No, just one more thing. It's all on Trevor again. I know we're a super big quarterback centric podcast here. Like, what can the quarterback do that determines how they win? It's all on Trevor. They
It
go as he
is.
goes. They can win 14 games this year. No, okay, no, they can't. I take that all back. I'm immediately
14
retracting
is,
that.
yeah,
Redact
10,
that.
10 games.
11. They can win 11 games this year. They can
Sure.
beat. They can. They can win the AFC South this
Their
year.
ceiling's higher than it ever was with Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to diss my boy. Dougie P. All right. So I guess my thoughts are fairly similar. So get out of my head. But I like Brian Thomas. I think it's interesting that on depth charts right now, Tank Tank Bigsby is actually below ETN. So
Mm.
I thought that was peculiar, yeah, weird. I'm just going with weird. But defensively, that's where all the excitement is for me. I know that most people probably want to see Trevor click with two wide receivers, being that
Mm.
Travis will play that two slot. And I like Tank Bigsby, so even if Travis isn't who people thought he was a few years ago, I think they have a really good, talented second back. Their defense just has a lot to like the opposite of the Texans offense. I mean, I'm just saying, I like Devin Lloyd. I like Foyesada, Louis Khan. Trayvon Walker's only gotten better as the years have gone on, in my opinion, but maybe statistically speaking, I'm wrong.
He's been
Not to say
amazing.
he's
He's been
old,
very good. Very
but
good.
the dude who changed his name because the quarterback with the same name is just better. They got a lot of pieces. I'm talking about Josh Hines Allen. Um,
Yeah.
they got a lot of pieces that I like, and I'm excited to see this. I'm really curious to just see how this Travis Hunter situation plays out. I don't know if you know exactly how they plan to use him, if they are going to start him primarily at one side or the other, but I really just want to see someone try it. I've never personally seen someone efficiently play both sides of the ball, so I'm very interested to see if that can happen at an NFL level. But other than that, it is a quarterback question. It is. I do think that we're both like we both like Liam Cohen, and we both like made a note to mention it, which I think is kind of funny because neither of us mentioned it when we were talking about the Bucks and losing him. But we already missed that. So let's go on to the third team. Who you got in third? I'm sure we're not gonna have a difference here. Actually, maybe we do. Who you got?
I have the Titans at 6-11 at the third spot.
I also have the Titans, but I have them at 5 wins, 12 losses. Did you want me to lead the way on this one, or you wanted to take the reins?
I got it. I got it with this.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm not in love with Cam Ward. I'm gonna be super blunt about it. He wouldn't surprise me if he turned out to be good. I just am not. I'm just not the biggest fan of him coming out of college. I don't think he's a number one pick in the NFL draft caliber talent, and I don't even care that he's a quarterback. I'm just not a Cam Ward guy, if I'm being honest. And this defense is still not good at all. But this offense can be competent with Cam Ward. Like he still could be a decent quarterback. I'm not sold on him. I don't like their skill positions that much, but they're decent. Ridley,
Tyler
spacing it.
Lockett, Van
Tyler
Jefferson.
Lockett. I'm spacing the running back's name. Tony
Oh,
Pollard.
Pollard. Sorry. Yeah, I'm
They're
a Steelers guy,
decent.
but he's hurt, right?
Yeah, he is hurt right now, but it's decent, but it's not anything amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Middle of the pack as far as weapons go, at best, honestly.
And that's because they've invested so much, in my opinion, in this O line the last few years, which is never a bad idea. It just hasn't returned on the investment. They've spent so much money on this O line. They spent every first round pick like 2 or 3 years before Cam Ward on this O line, and it's just not gelling. It's not working out. And it's not the worst situation for the first overall pick, to be honest, but I'm just not expecting much of the Cam Ward. That's really what it boils down to. It's another quarterback conversation.
Well,
I
that
don't
this
know.
one's as fair as any could be. You're talking about the number one overall pick being their starting quarterback, but they're uh they're currently expected to only win about 5-6 games. So I think we're right on par with what the betting experts think. As far as the weapons go, I'm kind of right there with you. Pollard he's okay. He's good. He's all right. He's solid. He'll get the job done. I like Spears more, but he's hurt. Ridley, he's also just kind of okay. Can get the job done. Okay, might be kind of disrespectful to Calvin Ridley, but he's just getting older. I mean, he's not getting any younger. That's for sure. So 30 years old and rookie quarterback. I'm not sure. Like nothing about them flies off the paper to me. So I'm kind of right there with you. 5-12 for me. You have them at 6 wins. It's a step
Yeah,
up from last year. Either way, I
you
hope
know,
Cam. I mean, I guess I don't want to say I hope Cam pans out, but I guess I can kind of appreciate them trying. Kind of like you
yeah,
said, like they've been trying on the offensive line that hasn't worked out. But if I'm a Titans fan and I've been in the deepest depths of Will Levis gameplay, um, um, I mean, you're just like your team's most screen time is on NFL memes pages. It's gotta suck. So it's probably pretty nice
yeah,
to have at least watched your team invest in a
something.
chance at a
Yeah,
guy. He's
yeah,
23. He's not the tallest guy. He's like 6'2", but I mean he's got mechanics, and honestly the thing that's most likable about him for me is the way he approaches the podium, how he handles media. So I'm excited for him. I hope he pans out. More quarterbacks in the league that are good just makes it more fun to watch every week. So I'm always rooting for
that's
the
true.
young guys.
That's true. I'm not rooting against him. I just don't
Yeah,
see it.
no, you just weren't buying stock.
Yeah,
You're not. It's the
I
stock
own no
watch. You're not
stock.
buying them. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd say I buy stock, but I'm watching. I'm watching the market price. I'm seeing what the value is. My buy low might just stay away. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say on them. We can move it on over to the last place team. Of course, we both agree once again the Indianapolis Colts not far off from what we're gonna get out of the New Orleans Saints this year, in my opinion.
Oh, different for me. There's some bright spots here for
No,
me.
I know. I'm just saying that as far as wins go,
Mm.
I got him 3-14. I just I really
Oh,
don't think you said but you had the last team at 6 wins, so the best you could have them at is what, 5?
yeah. But that. Yeah, that just shook
I
me.
mean, who do you
Yeah,
believe in though? I mean,
I feel like
Richardson's
I'm
hurt.
really
Jones is
no.
awful. Like what? So who's winning them games in your
I'm
mind?
not gonna. It's like we're splitting hairs here for sure, but like
We said
I feel like I have them at 5-12. I feel like that's like I'm taking the under on them. Like but there's some three is like that's
Yeah,
bad. That's New
you're
York
right. I
Giants
do
last
think
year
that
bad.
your record prediction is probably closer to what they're going to end the season as, but I don't think there is a ton of.
They're bad.
I don't want to say there's not a. I don't. I'm not sure if there's a lot of bright spots. You said there are things to look forward to, but really, like a
I
lot of the
love
players
their
on their team
offense.
that I like are young. They're not younger. They're older,
Hmm.
and I mean, when you say you love their offense, outside of their pick at tight end this year and Jonathan Taylor, what's
I
to
don't
like?
want. I like AD Mitchell a lot. Pittman, I'm not the biggest fan of, but he's a decent player. Not the biggest fan of him, I'm not gonna lie, but he's a decent
You're
player.
a Josh
Pierce
Downs
is one of the
guy.
best. I am a Josh Downs guy. I really like Josh Downs. He's super good to me. He just hasn't had the quarterback to get him the ball. AD Mitchell he's elite too. He's got great separation. He's just got to work on his hands. And Pierce is one of the best, if not the best, deep threat in the league currently.
Yeah, when
And
you have
Tyler
Flacco.
Warren is
I'm
an
just playing.
animal.
I was
Tyler
just
Warren
kidding.
is an animal.
Yes, I'm very excited about
And
Tyler
Jonathan
Warren.
Taylor is good. I'm actually lower on Jonathan Taylor than I think the consensus of
I
people are,
think
and
you're
I
lower than
still
I
love his
am.
weapons.
I like Jonathan Taylor, but I can't say that I love the weapons. I mean,
And the offensive
maybe
line's
I'm
good.
maybe I'm too low on some of these pieces. I think they have pieces on the offensive line that are good. I wouldn't say that the offensive line as a whole is good. I like that. I love their left guard Quentin Nelson and their right tackle and Braden Smith. But outside of that, I mean,
They just
I
got a new
guess I'm
center.
I guess I'm just blessed, right? I'm just blessed. So nothing looks good when you're comparing it to the best of the best. But defensively speaking, what's the young pieces that's to like the young pieces that would be likable? I mean,
I wouldn't say there's necessarily young
Liat
pieces.
Latu, like is it Liate Latu? Did I say that right? Um,
He's awesome. He's cool. He's cool, but he's not moving them.
Yeah,
goalpost for me. It's
exactly.
it's
And then
mainly
like
the offense.
DeForest Buckner, he's getting up there. He's
Yeah.
31 years old, I believe, and Grover Stewart's not much younger, or if not the same age, like also 31 years old. Like my point being is that you said there's bright spots. I guess offensively, these pieces that you mentioned, they are on the younger side. I'm not going to deny you that, but outside of Pittman, I guess, and their O line is older, but I just don't see like all these pieces make sense when you have a quarterback and they don't have one, and they're not. It doesn't even look like they're trying because when they did take a swing, they didn't even
Mhm.
like. I guess the reason that Anthony Richardson's situation with the Colts upsets me or irritates me is because you draft a guy who everybody knows is a project, and you don't commit to developing that project. You just throw him in, and then
Yeah.
almost
I
like
hate that.
pull the leash right back, like you yanked him right back, but without even seeing what he had. Well, I guess maybe he just walked himself home, right, or like took
Yeah.
himself out the camp.
Yeah, he
Point
did.
being is that I don't like the way they handled that situation, and now they signed Daniel Jones and I guess he's just put. I mean, it's not untrue to say that he's put better things on tape than Richardson has at this point. And even if that wasn't true, Richardson got blown up in a preseason game. It might not be healthy week one, anyways.
Yeah.
Point being, I don't think there's a lot to like. I do think your record prediction is probably a bit better and more accurate than mine, but we're not super off.
I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
No, you
I was
go.
gonna say I think the Colts have a better offensive situation than the Panthers do. It is just the fact that they botched the quarterback situation entirely. Richardson, he's a freak athlete. He's awesome, and he needed time to develop. But again, he needs reps to develop. He needed to be in there. Like it's a tough balance to walk for sure. But he hasn't started a lot, and even when he does, he's making the simple mistakes that you install on day one of minicamp. He's still making those mistakes. He's not getting the protection set up. He's not doing himself any favors. And when it comes to the Jones part of it, I don't think Daniel Jones is necessarily outplayed Anthony Richardson. I just think narratively, if
That I
you
agree
start
with.
Richardson and pull him and then start Jones and then have to pull him again, because I think it's going to be back and forth this entire season. That looks way worse than giving Jones the start, thinking he's all right, and then having the narrative be Richardson took a step or he outplayed him, whatever you want to say, and then he gets to come in later in the year. That goes over much smoother than benching Richardson for Jones. It just goes over much smoother, and that's why I think it went that way. If I'm being completely honest.
It's definitely fair, but I was just more so saying what they've put on tape, and I didn't mean as a Colts. I just meant Daniels at least
In
had a good
totality,
year. He's had he's been in a starting quarterback in a playoff game. He's won a playoff game. So it's like, I don't think he, necessarily was the reason they won. I'm just saying that he has those accolades, if you want to call them that. And that's what I thought. I personally thought that that's what gave him the edge in this situation, just as far as kind of what you said, like the narrative about them. But, well, you were taking it in a different direction, but that's kind of what I was saying. The narrative that I thought made most sense was just that media seems to believe Daniel's the better option. I mean, Daniel's the better quarterback now, and that possibly could be true. The better start, I should say, week one quarterback. A lot of the media that I saw was in the favor of Jones, and I know that me and you are both going to be in the favor of what we've been talking about. This basically the whole podcast episode of the quarterback having an opportunity to prove himself, even if he proves that he is awful. Just the chance to prove it. Otherwise,
yeah,
you always have a question mark on your bench, and it's the worst thing you can have. The worst thing. If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Famous words of my boy here. But yeah,
true.
there's not much more for me to say. I'll let you close it up on the Indianapolis Colts. I'm not
I
a
just
fan. That's
I have
about
one
it.
thing to say about what you said about Daniel Jones. I think he was one of the reasons they won that playoff game. He was very good in that playoff game. I'm not gonna lie. I was sipping a little bit of that Kool-Aid coming after that year, but
It's okay. He could
I
never
did it
fool
wrong.
me.
But he was pretty good. He was a very good in that playoff game. And if I'm being completely honest, the way he converted those third downs, I know it was with his legs as opposed
It's
to his
been a minute.
arms,
I
but
mean, I'm not. I wasn't like freshly thinking about it. All I know is
yeah,
what happened next,
yeah,
which was
and which was a disaster,
yeah for him.
calamity. Yeah,
At the link. Yeah.
I do want to say though, I think the Colts defense it's been relatively mediocre, which given their talent is not that bad, but obviously they got Bynum, they signed him, they traded for Blackman. There's a corner on their team that I'm kind of spacing right now, but
Teddy
Kenny
Moore.
Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you like him. Like DeForest Buckner, like you said, Leatu Latu. These are
Kenny's a
some
great guy.
good. These are some good players. George
Gro-
Stewart, Grover Stewart.
Grover, yeah. Grover,
Yeah,
DeForest. It's not
that's
that
a
they're
good D
bad.
line.
It's just that my
Their
point
middle
is
linebackers suck.
they're they're not a plug. They're not a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender, but they're also not like. But I don't know. I guess I was gonna say that it doesn't really matter who you plug in. I don't think that team is Super Bowl. That's
Oh
probably not
no
true.
way.
But I'm I'm like struggling to put it into words. My point was is that they have two quarterbacks, neither of which is really going to be able to take over and lead this roster, what they have, anywhere. Definitely not more than 5 wins. I'll go with 6.
I feel like I'm relatively low on them. They could be surprisingly mediocre this year. They could be surprisingly
Hey,
mediocre
I'll
this
eat
year,
my
honestly.
words. I'll eat my words, but I would think I'd place a bet right now that they'll be under 7 wins.
Okay, that could be true, but I'm more so leaning like they could be third in this division. That's kind of how I'm feeling about that.
Yeah, but I feel like that might almost say more about the Titans than it does about them.
Yeah, that's true. Under 7 wins, yeah, that's where I'm leaning. That's definitely where I'm leaning for sure. I'm definitely leaning under 7 wins. But
Well, if we were in that
Van
situation where
Stuyken
we
might be
thought
a
that they
good
were a bit
quarterback.
better, maybe we put a legitimate bet on this one, like shaving my legs or something.
No, but
But
this division is actually really tough to choose. I'm not gonna lie. They are. It's a lot of mediocre. A lot of mediocre. This is one of the weaker divisions in the NFL. No one's really. I'm just giving the Texans a spot out of like faith and respect.
I was gonna say mine's more respect than faith. I like CJ. He's cool. There's nothing to dislike about him. I just their offense is so boring to me. So
Yeah,
rude to say. It's such a weird like way to analyze a football team, but it's like almost what we used to talk about. How we used to talk about Derrick Henry. He's
yeah.
gonna do this great, incredible thing, and I've learned to actually respect and like his play. But at a certain point when he was in Tennessee, it just wasn't entertaining to me.
I feel like the reason you have that feeling about the Texans offense is because it's been like so bad on first and second down that it's been so poorly mismanaged, and maybe you're not necessarily like knowing that, but I think you are a fan of like obviously you're a fan of good football, but I think you're a fan of good offense, and they have only been decent on third down. Their first and second downs, my God, they might as well just been get us to third down immediately. Let CJ Stroud convert a third and long. That's why I think CJ is such an amazing quarterback. He's been so hamstrung, like in order to convert these third downs and still make the playoffs. Like if he gets a decent offensive coordinator, regardless of how we feel about the offensive line, if someone actually calls some competent play calls for him, this offense could be much more electric, much more productive, and much more entertaining. I feel like it's more of a, as opposed to a talent thing, it's more of who was calling plays, honestly.
I don't definitely don't think you're wrong on that one. CJ definitely has talent. The quarterback, or sorry, the wide receiver room. There's definitely talent in there as well with Nico and Christian Kirk, and I even like the Jaden Higgins kid. He's interesting to me.
Yeah. I'm more in on the
Their
Noel
tight
kid,
end,
but yeah.
Jalen Noel. I thought it was
Yeah.
Noel. I would have said
Oh
that
well.
wrong. Glad I didn't. But tight ends, like they're a lot of the stuff that they have on their team is it's just not. A lot of their players are good. They are.
Mhm.
If they could get a good play caller, then things could probably click a lot better. I think the running back question this year is going to be an interesting one with the injury situation to Joe Mixon and now having Nick Chubb over there. I'm kind of curious to see how that looks, and I like Chubb and rooting for him. Those injuries are devastating. So let's run it.
I'm rooting for him.
Of
I'm
course,
rooting
we're
for him for
rooting for
sure.
him. Of course. All right, let's
Love
run
Nick
it.
Chubb.
Let's run it right back. Let's run through all these again real quick. Just rattle off who we have for the NFC South, top to bottom. Go ahead.
I got the Bucks at 11-6, Falcons 9-8, Panthers 6-11, Saints 2-15.
So not very different from me. Got the 10-7 Buccaneers winning the division, 9-8 Falcons. But we discussed that their ceiling seems like there's definitely. I mean, I only have them a win away, right? So there's
Yeah.
definitely a world where they can flip a game and be the division winner in my opinion. Then Panthers at 6 wins, 11 losses, and the 1 win Saints, which I could truly see this being the first team in since what the Browns to
Mm.
go win this. It would be the first ever team to go 0-17. Correct. All right, like
Yeah, I'll
so.
be the first ever team to do that.
So
Yeah.
maybe they could set a record this year. Not the record you'd want to set though. And then all right, go through your AFC, top to bottom. AFC South.
I got the AFC South. being won by the Texans at 10-7, the Jags coming in second at 8-9, third Titans 6-11, fourth Colts 5-12.
And once again, similar. Excited to argue with the Wests next week. 10-7 for the Texans. They're going to take their division. And then I have the Jags right under them as at 8-9, similar to the Falcons. Feels like there's a world where they can win it. And then I have the Titans at 5-12, and for me, the lowly Colts at 3-12. So we will definitely be arguing a little bit more next week when we talk about AFC and NFC West. I'm excited for that. You've always been a Rams guy. We're probably not going to argue too much on that one. Maybe we will with the Stafford injury stuff, but let's save that for next week. So for now, this will conclude our episode 3 of the Wings versus Rings podcast, which is also our social handles on just about everything. Um, that's it. That's a wrap. We out.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye.